Hello, best ever body composition challengers. I'm Carrie Bach, registered dietitian with Core Plus, and today we're talking about what's the best eating pattern to help you build muscle, lose body fat, and maintain bone health as well. So the question I get a lot in my office is, should I be snacking? Should I just be eating 3 square meals? Should I be incorporating some sort of fasting? And when it comes to building muscle, losing body fat, and maintaining bone health, it's really a combination of all 3. So let's break those down. Fasting. When should we be fasting? Well, a lot of the fasting programs out there have you fasting until 11, 12, 1 p.m. And that's just not what we want to do in order to really be able to build muscle. It makes sense because if we're getting up in the morning and starting our work, we're walking, we're working out, we're metabolizing, we're just going to create a deficit, and our body is going to have to look somewhere to fill that deficit, and one of the places it will go is our own muscle mass to break that down and use amino acids as energy. We don't want that to happen. So we do not want to be doing our fasting during the early part of the day. What studies have shown in regards to weight loss, body fat loss, and maintaining muscle mass and building muscle mass is we want to push that fast to the nighttime. And this is really something everyone should be doing just for overall health, giving ourselves a little break from food. One study took a group of people and they ate the same amount of calories, had the same activity. The only thing they changed was the time of day that they ate. One group ate 2/3 of their calories after 3 p.m. The other group ate 2/3 of their calories before 3 p.m. The group that did that ate their calories earlier, lost an average of 3 to 4 pounds over 12 weeks. So it doesn't sound like a huge amount of weight, but that's the only change they made. So just metabolically, when we work with the circadian rhythm and our body's natural metabolism of wanting to get up, having to, get to work and move and all that stuff, when we give our body the nutrients it needs while we're asking it to do things, we're going to end up better at the end game. So we're going to end up with a little bit more weight loss, body fat loss, while still be able to maintain our muscle mass. And this is why, because then hopefully on that flip side, we're eating enough protein throughout the day when our body is having to metabolize everything that we're not creating a deficit. So it makes sense, right? If we get up and we start working, we maybe even go for a workout and we don't eat, where do you think our body's going to get its energy? Yes, it will go to some of the body fat stores, but it'll definitely break down muscle mass as well. And so when we look at composition and percentages, we're not really going to be making any gains at all. In fact, we're going to be making a deficit metabolically because when we lose muscle mass, we don't burn as many calories throughout the day. So it takes less and less calories to lose the weight we may be wanting to lose. So for those of you who have already seen my protein video, this will be a review. But for those of you who haven't, we want to make sure we're eating our protein throughout the day. For most of us, it's about 30 to 40 grams, 4 times throughout the day, spread out evenly, starting, right when we wake up or right after, shortly after. So that we don't allow our body to go into too much of a deficit. And then, cutting that off a little bit later into the evening. So the fasting component, kind of ending our eating for most of us, maybe around 7 p.m., maybe 8 p.m. And then we're giving ourselves a good 12-hour, 13-hour fast. Maybe we're not eating again until the next morning at 7 a.m., 8 a.m. What works for you, but just giving your body time to adjust and not always eating food late into the night when it comes to weight loss. Now, if you are someone who's trying to gain weight and gain mass, we kind of flip that on its head a little bit. We still want to be eating throughout the day because we don't want to be creating that deficit, but that's when we actually do also want to include a bedtime snack or a later in the evening type of snack to be able to really make sure we're building all the muscle mass and gain the weight gain that we're trying to get. Okay, so that's the answer to the fasting component of that question. Now, to answer the meal component of that question, yes, we should all be eating meals, all right? Breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And one other snack in regards to getting enough protein to preserve your muscle mass and build your muscle mass. Our breakfast should be pretty substantial, somewhere between 20-30 grams of protein, fruits, whole grains, all that kind of stuff. Our lunch, though, really needs to be our biggest meal. Another study showed when, again, just that adjustment to having lunch the biggest meal and not dinner, there was similar weight loss with those folks. And it kind of goes hand in hand. I mean, you're going to be eating more of your calories before 3 p.m. when your lunch is your biggest meal than after 3 p.m. And it showed about the same thing, about a 3 to 4 pound loss over the course of 12 weeks with just that one change. So our lunch also needs to include enough protein so that we get that protein bolus, especially if we're older. If we're over age 30, our body starts to stop being as efficient in breaking down and using amino acids. And so we really need to make sure that that lunch contains, 30 to 35 grams of animal protein, or if we're doing vegetarian sources, 35 to 45 grams to really get enough of that limiting amino acid leucine that's going to tell our body to stop breaking down the muscle and let's start building it up. All right, so largest meal at lunch. We are still eating breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And then now let's talk about that snack question. This is one that's really kind of variable. It depends on how active you are and also what your triggers are. So I do work with folks who, the more they eat, the more they want to eat. And then I work with others who they just need that because they are working out so hard, and that actually keeps them from eating so much later at night. So does that eating a bigger lunch. It helps with those late night cravings. So it's really being, taking a step back and thinking what works best for you. At minimum, I would recommend a solid breakfast, solid lunch, solid dinner, and one snack, preferably in the afternoon. Again, if you are one of those late night craver of foods, that helps kind of minimize that. All right, so that's the combination. That's the magic combination. We don't want to allow our body to go into a deficit during the day. We definitely want the majority of our calories to be before 3 p.m., ideally. We do want to give our body a break from eating if our goal is weight loss. If our goal is weight gain, then we can incorporate a snack later in the night. And in regards to bone health, the same kind of holds true. We just never really want to allow ourselves to have those deficits. So a good breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and then having those nutrients included as often as you can. We always hear about the dairy foods, which calcium is important, but even more important is going to be dark green leafy vegetables and probiotic type foods. So yogurts, kimchi, sauerkraut, because we know that the form of vitamin K that we need for bone health actually comes from bacteria in our foods and is a bacteria in our gut. So really incorporating that as often as you can. Even if it's just 3 to 4 times a week, it doesn't have to be a daily thing. You'll find a difference with being able to build bone health as well. As always, you can always ask questions to me on our Facebook page and reach out to me either through Facebook or go to my website, www.coreplus.com. All right, guys, I look forward to working with you through this next challenge. Until next time, be well.